Okay, this is like my 15th time recording this. This is, I'm just gonna do it, okay? This is a video about me rambling about Overwatch. Yeah, okay. So basically, how would I start this? I'm just gonna go right into it. As someone who's played Overwatch since the beginning, and someone who is at least casually interested in game design, I find Overwatch to be plagued by a lot of issues, and I'm gonna go through them now. So, one of its biggest issues is, guys, calm down. One of its biggest issues is pendulum balance. This is what I call it. So, anytime something is overpowered, they kind of nerf it to the ground and becomes extremely underpowered, and vice versa. Sometimes when it's so underpowered, they buff it and then it becomes overpowered. Um, they take a while to fix these changes, so whenever an imbalance is discovered, it kind of starts to define the meta. This is another issue. They're so late with balancing that by the time they get to it, it's already defined the meta for a season or two. Uh, I remember when Soldier was like a machine gun walking Bastion, or McCree was shredding things for a while. Diva went through many phases. Uh, there was a point where Symmetra was a little too strong. Bastion was the tank at some point, literally. That one was Bastion one was sorted out quickly, but my point still stands. For the most part, they let these imbalances define a meta. Another thing, is the issue with each character's skill floor and skill ceilings. So, how this should be designed, like a skill floor, is how well a player can do with the character at the most basic level. You know how easy it is to do well with this character, and then a skill ceiling is how well you can take that character, how far you can take that character if you get better at it. So, for example, characters with high floors mean that it takes a lot of effort to even function, and characters with low ceilings mean that even if you're really good, there's a limit to how far you can take that character. An example of a character with low floor, low ceiling would probably be Soldier 76. I mean, very basic abilities, very easy to do well with, and considering his ultimate is just an like auto aim, there's not really much you can do with him if you're really good at it. Like, yeah, you can maybe rocket jump, but there's not much to him that he can do crazy stuff like you could do with, for example, Widowmaker or Doomfist, which require a lot more effort to get a kill compared to what a soldier would do to get a kill. So Doomfist and Widowmaker would be considered high floor, high ceiling. Now, I think ideally a character should have some aspects of a low floor and some aspects of a higher ceiling, so then a character can be easy to play and hard to master. That's ideal. But with Overwatch, they don't have that. So either characters that are really easy but can't take far, or characters that are moderately difficult. So most people who are gonna play the game are gonna be in like gold, silver, plat tier, that range, and that they're not gonna be the best at the game. So when that happens, I mean, the average player, if they don't function well with a high floor character, it ruins their experience and everyone else's experience. This is important. With Widowmaker, you gotta get those headshots if you get kills. If you want to get kills, you can't really do much other than that. You're useless. And we all know the before the roll queue how Hanzos and Widowmakers pickers would just ruin games sort of by not being good or functional. It's a real issue. I mean, yeah, you can say get good, but while they try to get good, they're gonna ruin your game and their game at the same time, and that's just not fun. most people if most people play that hero poorly, then that's on the developer for not making aspects of that character give some aspect. I don't mean make an easy kill, but like some things, some functions of the character should be low risk and low reward, but still some reward, and then some aspects high risk, high reward. It should be a spectrum. But when you have only high risk, high reward, and nothing low risk, low reward, then you get this issue where uh, difficult characters end up ruining games. Um, what else? Now this next thing is an issue more so before the roll queue, but I think even after the roll queue, it kind of makes the issue. It's still there, but it happens at a different time. So, guys, look at him just slapping. Where was I? Yeah. So the issue of, I think I like to call this like the player lose dilemma. So, when you play the game and the first choice you make is which hero to play. That decision can be either a hero you want to play or a hero you don't want to play. And when do those things happen? So let's say you want to go in and play, I don't know, Doomfist, whatever. There's not enough healers or tanks in the team, so you have to pick those roles. Now you're stuck in a position. Do you pick the character that you intended to play initially, that one you want to play, that you'll have the most fun playing, but they're not needed, therefore you would lose the team composition game part of the game. So you would put your team at a disadvantage. You lose that situation. Or do you pick a hero that you do need in the team, but you don't really want to play at that moment in time? In that case, even if you pick the character and win, you still lose because that's not who we want to play anyway. Now, since they implemented roll queue, this decision still happens just before the game starts. You make that decision while you choose the roll queue, and this is even worse because now you can see that if you want to play DPS, you have to wait like 7 minutes, 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. This is another issue with games that involve roles. That, like, with an MMORPG is different, but when you get into a shooter game, people want to get kills. Like, the objective is to get kills. The healers and tanks help facilitate that, but directly, the chain, I mean, like, think of it like this is the kill, the goal, and the killers, the DPS, get the kills, and then the healers and the tanks support the DPS. But in certain levels, tiers of the game, if the DPS player can function, which is possible, can function without the healer and tank, then they ultimately carry the game. But with Overwatch, there's extremely limited ability to carry the game considering the amount of players, and especially if you play a non-DPS character. So if you play a healer or a tank, no matter how well you play, you might create more chances for your DPS to get kills, but if they're not good enough, they're gonna lose those chances. So it doesn't even matter that you played well as a healer. Doesn't matter if you saved your DPS 3-4 times while healing. If you if they don't capitalize on that and get the kill. So as a healer, you depend on the DPS to get the kills and to protect you. As a tank, you depend on the healer to keep you alive and to make space for the DPS to get the kills. And DPS, you are tasked with getting the kills with support from healing and your tanks to make space. This dynamic will always create a situation where someone can't function without someone else. So, a healer can't win the game by healing so well. They need the kills, they need the space from the tanks. And then same thing goes with DPS, they still need some help, and the tanks still need DPS and healing. This means that whenever someone inevitably plays poorly, they end up negatively affecting someone else's game. And considering there's 6 players in the team, it's quite likely. and this results manifests in toxicity in the game. Um, it's just inevitable, right? And they can't do anything about it. Like as a healer, you can't kill, you can't make up for the losses of the other players in your team. So their lack of performance affects you negatively, your game experience negatively. And that's an issue inherent with the property of having roles in a game. I would say the dynamics are a little different in MMORPG because that's the expectation. It's more specialized, but even if you have light roles like you do in Overwatch, it's still enough that it would cause these reliance issues. What else? Overwatch, I guess, his last issue that I can think of on my head, top of my head, is content. Content is so slow to come out. Like one hero every 6 months or some shit, and the one map. It's really lame. I don't know what the developers are doing. They've been working on Overwatch 2 this whole time, which is just the PvE expansion. And if it's anything, if the events are anything to go by, I see this PvE campaign as probably very boring, and I don't even think it's gonna advance the story. The game, since it has come out, or even since it's been announced, the story has not progressed. It's ridiculous. So at this point, couldn't give any shits about the story at this point. We still don't know who Talon is and what their motivation is, or who started the second Omni Crisis. All this bullshit after a year, 2 years and a half or so, still nothing. Okay, I'm gonna upload this. I'm sick of myself for like recording these and then not uploading them and then feeling shitty afterwards. So this is going. I hope. I don't know what I hope. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, that's it. Cheers. Charlie. God damn it. Okay, see you guys.